This episode covers Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. Day 43 of the Scenic Detour. Today's meanderings took me 197 miles, from Cajon Junction to Santa Barbara, California, through dense mountain fog, gritty city streets, and finally a long-anticipated stop at the Pacific Ocean. Then up through Malibu and Ventura, and to Santa Barbara for a late lunch with a longtime family friend. I started my morning in Cajon Junction, at the foot of the San Bernardino Mountains, wrapped in thick fog, not just misty, dense. But as I climbed, I broke through the low clouds and into clear air and blue skies. And that moment, when the sun first hits your visor after riding through gray, always feels like a little reward. My plan was to head into the Angeles National Forest and take the legendary Angeles Crest Highway. But most of it was closed west of Big Pines, so I detoured. Down Big Pines Highway, then Palermo Road, Fort Tejon Road, and Mount Emma Road. It was a winding route through quiet desert foothills and high mountain passes. Places I hadn't expected to see. Eventually, I linked up with the Angeles Forest Highway, County Road N3, which carried me back into the Angeles Crest Highway just in time for the descent into Glendale. I could see the fog and the mist clinging to the lower elevations waiting for me as I dropped in. On a clear day, this stretch offers sweeping panoramic views, sometimes all the way to the Pacific Ocean, but not today. As I descended, the sweeping views vanished into fog, and the road tightened into steep, twisting switchbacks, 10-mile-an-hour curves, slick with drizzle and mist. I could barely see a couple cars ahead of me, and even in those blind turns, I was getting passed on the double yellow line, more than once. It wasn't exhilarating, it was stressful. Before continuing west, I made a quick stop at Griffith Park and rode up to the observatory. I snapped a picture with the Hollywood sign in the background. A little touristy, sure, but fun. And as I descended through the Hollywood Hills, Hollywood Nights by Bob Seger kicked in, and I couldn't help smiling. I picked up the freeway, Interstate 5 to 110 to Interstate 10. My first time in Los Angeles. And honestly, between the road names and all the exits, I felt like I had accidentally ridden into an episode of Saturday Night Live's The Californians. As I cruised west, songs from the Laurel Canyon era rolled through my head. The Byrds, the Mamas and the Papas, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Joni Mitchell, Carole King, Jackson Browne. You could feel the echoes of all that music in the canyons and the streets. Then I made it to the ocean. I could see the iconic arch of Santa Monica Pier getting closer, and then it was right across the street. I was there. I rolled onto Route 1, the Pacific Coast Highway I'd follow all the way to Canada, and rode just a few minutes up to Will Rogers Beach. I parked my bike, I kicked off my boots, and I stepped into the cold, salty water. I grabbed a hot dog from a beach stand and ate it with sandy fingers and a grin on my face. While the direct route from my apartment in New York to the Santa Monica Pier is about 2,800 miles and 40 hours of riding, I'd taken 43 days and nearly 7,000 miles to get here. And I had seen things. The forests of the East and the Smoky Mountains, the rivers and hills of the Mississippi Basin, the endless plains of Kansas, the southern Rockies and the Continental Divide, the canyons and the cliffs of Utah, the scorched and surreal deserts of Death Valley and the Mojave, and now finally, the California coast. I had seen the places I planned to see, and just as many that surprised me. I was happy, satisfied with what I'd done so far, and still excited for what lay ahead. I didn't know it at the time, but I had 11,000 miles to go in about 70 days. Earlier that day, the Eagles had played in my helmet, but now as I turned north, it was Ventura Highway by America that kept looping in my head. But the ride wasn't over yet. I had one more leg to go. Up the coast to Santa Barbara to meet my lifelong family friend Melissa for a late lunch. Her mom and mine had been friends since before either of us were born, and it had been too many years. I also got to meet her partner, Will. We ate at Los Agaves, good food, great company, and a little time to slow down and take it all in. That night I stayed at the Hideaway Santa Barbara. The name fits. It was clean, it was quiet, and exactly the kind of place you want to end a big day. Thanks to all the staff there. Really lovely people. This was a bucket list day. Every motorcycle rider dreams of a coast-to-coast trip. And here I was, feet in the Pacific. 7,000 miles over 43 days, and I loved every minute of it. I was grateful and proud, and still had a long way to go. As I researched a quote for today, I remembered the advice of Henry David Thoreau. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. Tomorrow, I head up the California coast. Unfortunately, I won't be able to take the PCH all the way to Carmel. There's still a section just south of Big Sur that's closed. But I'll wind my way around. I'm sure I'll find some great roads. Thanks for watching. Until the next ride, be safe, be curious, and keep meandering.